What's up guys and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host João. Welcome to the channel and welcome to Talking Points from Game Week 6, where we look at what happened in Game Week 6 and see how that can help us in the Fantasy Premier League looking forward to Game Week 7. But before we get into this episode, thank you guys so much for hitting 9,000 subscribers. We did it over Thursday or Friday last week, and in celebration of that, we have released some new merchandise that will only be available until we hit 10,000 subscribers. It's kind of like a badge of honor that you are one of the first 10k subs to this channel. We have a Dragon Ball Z inspired over 9,000, and we have a In the Top 10k t-shirt, as well as a mug with a new Flock logo on it. So go check that out if you are interested. Again, it will only be available until we hit 10,000 subscribers. And once again, thank you guys so much for the support. Growth has been incredible this season, so thank you guys so much. Anyway, into the video, and we start off with points everywhere on Saturday as the Premier League went a bit crazy. However, the issue with it was the points were in places we weren't really expecting. Only 5 teams from the 16 that played on Saturday managed to keep clean sheets. However, the problem was goals and points came from places that were not covered in Fantasy Premier League managers' sides. Burnley seemingly not reading the script and finding some form after falling in Europe against Bournemouth. Man City rotation again messing up FPL managers' plans. Liverpool's points coming from players like Matip and Alexandre-Arnold. But the main question to ask is, out of all these players that we weren't expecting to score points, are any of them looking like options for us moving forward? The first player we're looking at is Lennon, coming in at 5 million, which seems incredibly cheap for Lennon, who's always kind of promised to be a fantasy football asset, but has never really come through in the Fantasy Premier League game. Now at Burnley, owned by only 0.4% of people. He has played 540 minutes, meaning he's pretty nailed on in that Burnley side, and especially there won't be much rotation now that they've fallen in Europe. And he's scored 1 goal and 1 assist, getting 5 penalty area touches in Game Week 6. Also having 2 attempts on goal, 2 from inside the box, 1 shot on target, 1 big chance, and creating 2 chances himself. Now that isn't too bad for a game week performance. We have seen better numbers, but those usually come from players that are very, very attacking midfielders or just really world-class players. So if you're looking at Burnley's fixtures at any point this season and you think maybe they're worth a go, Lennon could be a Fantasy Premier League punt, but I wouldn't really suggest going for him at the moment. The next one we look at is Moutinho from Wolves, and let's be fair, Wolves were playing Man United and looked the better side in my opinion. At 5.4 million, he's only in 1.6% of sides and has played 525 minutes, looking very nailed on in that Wolverhampton side as well. He got 1 goal from 1 attempt, but what a goal it was, by the way. His shot, of course, was on target because it went in, but chances created, he also created 2, and big chances created, he created 1. And to be honest, him and Neves look like a dynamic midfield, and that 3-4-3 kind of formation that Wolves are playing looks very, very promising. There's also Doherty and Raul Jimenez that also look like promising Fantasy Premier League assets, and it looks like we need to be getting some Wolverhampton players into our sides. Would I go for Moutinho? The likelihood of him scoring lots of goals is unlikely, but I think there are definitely options in that Wolves side. And if he continues to do this in game weeks, he then will become a viable option, as he is, of course, a world-class midfielder. We then move on to Ashley Barnes at 5.7 million. He's only selected by 0.4% of teams as well. He's only played 150 minutes, so he's not actually the favoured striker at Burnley, but he did have a great game week with 2 goals from 2 penalty area touches, 2 attempts, 2 from inside the box, both on target of course, and 1 big chance. Now to be fair, he was very, very clinical in this game. And do I think he's going to keep those kind of numbers up? Similar to the Richarlison situation where I said the underlying numbers don't really suggest that he's going to keep scoring like this. So Barnes is definitely a punt when Burnley have good fixtures and he seems like he's coming into the side. But there is of course the likes of Chris Wood and Sam Vokes there as well, who are likely to feature, and Chris Wood seems the favoured option for Burnley, so I don't think Barnes is really an option. And then we have Iheanacho at Leicester City. Now, there was a lot of promise when Iheanacho first moved to Leicester City. So Iheanacho is a player that does interest us if he can stay in that first 11. The problem is Vardy is their main striker. He's selected by 1% of teams at the moment and has played 300 minutes, which seems to be an improvement on last season anyway. Goals, he scored 1. He got 1 assist from 2 penalty area touches, 2 attempts, 2 from inside the box, 1 on target and 1 big chance. He also came in with some chances created, with 4 chances created by himself and 1 big chance created. And if Iheanacho and Vardy continue to play up front together at 5.9 million, he could be a cheap way into that Leicester side for those that can't really afford to bring in a second expensive striker like Vardy. But for Iheanacho, I would say it's one of those things we'll just have to wait and see. But if it continues in this manner, I think he could be an option to cover that Leicester City side if they have good fixtures. We now move on to Man City points shared, as Manchester City went and beat Cardiff 5-0, and we will get on to Cardiff. But 5-0, you'd be expecting a lot of happy Fantasy Premier League managers. However, the majority of goals came from sources we were not expecting. Everyone that scored in this game is a rotation risk, which makes it very hard to actually figure out who to go for. And Aguero seems the safest option in that Manchester City side, but knowing Pep, a place on the bench for Aguero could be just around the corner. And to be fair, Aguero was subbed off early when the game didn't seem in doubt anymore, so even he isn't getting 90 minutes. So with Manchester City players, you just have to accept the fact that you're going to have rotation as a risk, which is why you need such a strong bench. Bernardo Silva, who had been dropped to the bench previously and many had moved on, came in for David Silva, who was a very popular transfer in. And Silva, along with Gundogan and Riyad Mahrez, a big transfer who's only really been making cameo appearances, all came in with big point totals. First off, we start with Gundogan at 5.5 million. He played 69 minutes, getting 1 goal and 1 assist. 6 penalty area touches with 3 attempts on goal, 2 from inside the box, 1 shot on target, 1 big chance. Minutes per chance was at 23 minutes, and chance created, he had 2 with 2 big chances created. So both of his chances were good chances for the person he played it onto. Mahrez at 8.6 million, he played only 29 minutes but came in with 2 goals, 4 penalty area touches, 3 attempts, which is the same as Gundogan, who played a lot more than him, 3 from inside the box and all 3 on target with 1 big chance, minute per chance at 9.7 minutes per chance. If he could do that in 90 minutes, Mahrez could be a very, very big asset for us. And then he created 1 chance as well, and we move on to B. Silva, 7.5 million. A lot of people were high on him at the beginning of the Fantasy Premier League, but not so much anymore. He played the full 90 minutes, getting 1 goal and 1 assist. He had 8 penalty area touches with 2 attempts on goal, 2 from inside the box, 1 shot on target. No big chances, but he did have a chance every half and created 4 chances for his teammates with 1 big chance created. So if we could ever get a period where that Man City side seemed pretty nailed on, we could really try and benefit from this Manchester City side, who are full of goals and are playing some great football, but the rotation risk is always there. Ederson is probably the only player that is guaranteed to play every game, and knowing Pep, he could even prove me wrong there. However, there is so much upside to a lot of these players that it might just be worth risking the rotation and having strong players on your bench. We then move on to Cardiff being great opposition for any of your players to be coming up against in a game week. So far this season, Cardiff have only kept 2 clean sheets out of 6 games. However, in the games where they did not keep clean sheets, and in the last 3 games in fact, they've conceded 3 goals, 4 goals and 5 goals. With Burnley, Tottenham, Fulham, Liverpool and Leicester in their next 5, options from these teams could be really good if you have them in your side, or you can get them in for that game week, because Cardiff look like they can concede a lot. If we just look at the last 3 game weeks, I believe game week 4 they played Arsenal, conceded 3 goals. Total shots conceded 17. On target they conceded 11, and they conceded 1 big chance and they made 1 error, which led to a chance. Against Chelsea in game week 5, they conceded 4 goals from 18 shots in total. Only 7 of them were on target, but they conceded 3 big chances. And then against Manchester City, which we all know about, they conceded 5 goals from 21 shots on goal. On target, they conceded 10 shots. Big chances, they conceded 4. They had 1 error, which actually also led to a goal. So Cardiff look like they could play a big part in our Fantasy Premier League season if we have the right players playing against them. We then move on to disappointing Liverpool. As yes, Mo Salah finally returned some points and was a better captaincy option than Aguero and Eden Hazard. But if we're honest, despite a 3-0 victory for Liverpool over Southampton, it was a disappointing performance from the three main men leading the line at Liverpool. Mo Salah and Firmino had as many shots on goal as James Milner and Xherdan Shaqiri. Both of those players only played a half of football each. And Mane had less than Shaqiri and Milner. And in a game week where many thought that Liverpool could do really well against Southampton, all three were outshined by the likes of Jamie Vardy, Mitrovic, Riyad Mahrez, Fred, and worryingly Harry Kane as well outperformed them in underlying stats. And Harry Kane hasn't looked on fire recently. Like Man City, with points being shared around from game week to game week, should we consider another strategy with Liverpool, as a lot of people have dropped Salah for the cheaper options of Firmino and Mane just to cover Liverpool in case you get a big point haul from them? But could we look elsewhere where there are more nailed on options to feature? If we just go over the stats for the game week, we can see Salah at 12.9 million. He got 1 goal. However, penalty area touches was at 12, which is decent. 2 attempts on goal, 2 from inside the box. On target only 1 and 1 big chance, but minute per chance per half. For a £13 million player, or 12.9 now, that isn't really good enough. And then Firmino at 9.4, he had 7 penalty area touches, 2 attempts on goal, 2 from inside the box, 1 shot on target, a minute per chance, also at 45 minutes with 1 chance created. You'd expect more from Firmino against Southampton. And Mane at 10 million, 5 penalty area touches, 1 attempt, 1 on target, minute per chance at 90 minutes and 1 chance created. Really not good enough for any of those 3 players. Xherdan Shaqiri though looked really good. Just the problem is it doesn't look like he will be featuring in 90 minutes worth of game in the Premier League unless they're potentially resting someone from a Champions League fixture. We then move on to the Sunday fixtures where everyone was focused on Chelsea, and that was doubled by the fact that West Ham really haven't been that good defensively. Everyone looking at Eden Hazard and players like Marcos Alonso in support. However, without Pedro, who didn't feature in the squad, and Sarri said was a very important player, Chelsea could not break down West Ham, and Fabianski actually came out the game looking very, very good. And West Ham actually had chances to win it. I heard Yarmolenko had a really good chance, which he fluffed his lines on. Meanwhile, Arsenal, who many haven't looked at, apart from potentially Lacazette, who has looked good recently, broke down Everton's defence twice, with Lacazette and Aubameyang getting the goals, and Ramsey playing an integral part in getting both assists. With these players now scoring points, and them being cheaper than a lot of their other counterparts in other sides, will there now be a shift towards Arsenal players? Lacazette at 9.4 and Ramsey at 7.4 do offer value and could be ways into some good fixtures for Arsenal. Aubameyang, though, however, was played out wide, and I heard seemed to be kind of out of the game for a lot of it. So Aubameyang, even though his underlying stats, which I'm about to read to you, do look good, may not be an option. I need to watch the game to really judge that, which I'll hopefully do before any live streams that I do. But at the moment, Arsenal look like they could be an option if they're starting to get their act together. And the players, of course, are the ones that featured in the points. Aubameyang at 10.8 million, he played 69 minutes, getting 1 goal from 4 penalty area touches, 2 attempts on goal, 1 from inside the box, 1 on target, 1 big chance, minute per chance at 34.5 minutes per chance, and 1 chance created in the entire game. Ramsey at 7.4 million, a lot more friendly on the budget. He played 80 minutes, getting 2 assists from 3 penalty area touches, 1 attempt on goal, which was on target, in a minute per chance per 80, created 2 chances, one of which was a big chance. And then Lacazette, whose goal I've heard was very, very good at 9.4 million, 90 minutes played, so he featured for the whole game, got 1 goal from 5 penalty area touches, only 1 attempt, which isn't great, but it was from inside the box and on target, and minute per chance at 90 minutes. So the underlying stats actually favour Aubameyang, but from everything I've heard, potentially Ramsey and Lacazette could be the options to go to. And finally, I brought it back for this week ones to watch purely because I planned to do more content last week and then I really couldn't. So let's just get ones to watch done, and then potentially I can do a video where I look more in depth on it. But ones to watch for this week are Jamie Vardy and Anthony Knockaert. Jamie Vardy at 8.9 million. He played for 90 minutes, getting 1 goal and 1 assist from 7 penalty area touches, 7 attempts on goal, 6 inside the box, 3 shots on target, 2 big chances, minute per chance at 12.9 minutes, and chances created 2 with 1 big chance created. Jamie Vardy has some very good fixtures, and with Maddison behind him, attacking wise, Leicester look like a good option. Personally, I'd probably stay away from them with their defence though, even though Chilwell and Pereira do look like they offer attacking threat. And then Anthony Knockaert, 5.5 million, which is a nice cheap price range, has been doing decently this season so far, and Brighton haven't exactly had easy fixtures. Minutes played in the last game week, he had 90 minutes played, got 1 goal from 2 penalty area touches, 3 attempts, 2 from inside the box. All 3 of his attempts were on target, 1 big chance, a chance every 30 minutes, and he also created 3 chances. So Knockaert could potentially be ready to have a breakout season. This is an early call. I'm looking at him. I'm not sure if I'll jump on it early, but now I'm starting to look for differentials, and Knockaert is one that's interesting me with Brighton Hove Albion's fixtures about to get easier. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode as always. It's a bit of a longer one this one, but I had a lot to talk about and wanted to cover everything. So thank you for tuning into this video. As always, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and that notification bell so you're told when I go live and when my videos go up on the channel. Also, check out the various links in the description down below, including that Teespring link if you want to buy any of the merch that is available until I hit 10,000 subscribers. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.